We're now live. Woo! Good morning. This is Tracy from Low Country Shrimp and Knits and the fabulous Judi. She's from Maggie Loves Yarn, and we are here working on our weekly, well, I call it a knit along, but mostly we just talk, and sometimes there's knitting that's involved. Not always, but we are getting to just about the end. Well, not for me quite, but just about the end.
I am racing to the end 2 inches before I'm done around the bottom.
So
next week it will be done.
Smooth sailing, smooth sailing. This is the shirt that we did. Here's where I am. I'm still about midriff, which just nobody needs that. Nobody needs that in my life. Or sorry, we don't even need to think about that. Sorry about that. So
we have to do a Phoebe.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh my God. Oh. So yeah, no, I'm rocking some nice fluffy hair today. I tell my hairstylist, I was like, I'm just going to tell everyone that this frizzy style is by her, but really it requires a lot of work to have this level of frizz going on. So you have to be born with really white trash scraggly hair, and then you need to have COVID.
You call it white trash.
Yes, I do. And then you need to have COVID where almost all of your white trash scraggles fall out in giant clumps. And then you need to move to South Carolina where it's humid so you can wear it even though it's been straightened twice in the last 24 hours. Twice. This is what I got going on. So follow me for some more hair solutions.
You get frizz. I just get perfectly straight.
Yeah, no, I get disgusting amounts of frizz.
In the summer I go to because my hair is very thin, very fine, very straight. And I go to the hair salon and they go, shall we style it and spray it? I went, no, don't bother. It'll be straight by the time I get to the car anyways, because you go on here, the humidity, it just goes.
Oh, well, I was like, oh my God. So look at how good this looks, and
gone.
Done. So that's I wanted to share a little something. My kids, first of all, I feel like I'm giving a gift to the world because they're really funny. My kids are really funny, and you're welcome, universe, because we need more funny people. But they have decided that they're now crocheters, and I can't offer them too much help with that because I crocheted when I was young. I did the granny square thing, and I loved it, but as I got older, I started knitting, and I never really went back to crocheting, so I forgot all the basics. But so Lena, my older one, has taught herself to crochet. She makes, this cutest little amigurumi animals. So this, things like this. This is, you can't really see. I'll kind of come in a little bit closer. So here, look at how cute. This is just a little otter. It's got his little otter tail in here. Super cute. So every day I come home and I get to see all these really adorable things. And so Emmeline, who's my younger one, she's just got a wicked sense of humor.
I love her.
She's, oh my God, she's so hilarious. Lena's really funny too, but Emmeline's got this real sarcastic humor. So she came home and she goes, Mom, I made you something today. So and actually she's made these for you, Judi. So you've got it.
Good.
She made this is a tapeworm. So she made me.
I don't have one of those in my collection.
Tapeworm. Here is a tapeworm, and then she made me a large intestine with eyes. So also part of the tapeworm family. And
the eyes could be what makes my IBS hurt.
But that could be it. So here you go, Judi, to add to your collection from Emmeline.
It's my IBS. Yeah. That's my IBS intestine.
That's your IBS. The new IBS collection is available at Low Country Shrimp and Knits. Check online at shrimpandknits.com.
Maybe this is why my stomach hurts.
I'm thinking one of these has got to be it. Although she warned me, she goes, tell Judi the eyeballs fall out, so don't be flinging them around. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we don't have to worry about them flinging around. But, so yes, the IBS collection found here. So, anyway.
Oh, I shouldn't just throw those. I should
gently place them.
So
I want to talk about our next knit along. I'm going to really try to get through this. But even if I don't, if Judi feels we're going to kick it off ready next week, we'll kind of play it by ear. But you might be ready. I won't.
I want this done so we can talk about finishing first before we start that next week.
That's fine. So maybe 2 weeks from now then.
Yeah.
All right.
Because then Liz will be here.
Yay, I can't wait till she's here.
And because today we need to talk about how we're going to finish this thing baby off and how we're going to block it.
Okay.
And talk about our new better stripes.
Okay. So yes,
new better.
Poor Liz. So she's been ordering. We decided to go with Zoe, and it's this really beautiful, fun yarn from Jupiter Moon Farm. And the first time Judi did it, if you missed that episode, she used this hemp.
Last week. Look at that.
Was it last week? Okay, it was last week. She used hemp, and it really stretched. It really didn't keep the the fit to it. The drape was overly drapey. So
I love having sleeves that go down to my kneecaps.
well, yes, you can whip them around and that kind of thing. So we are using these colors. Now what's happening is they're really hard to find. So I have a couple really gorgeous colors here. And I'm going to get a few more in as soon as we can locate them because my
These are
vendor.
mine.
Yep, this one is one of mine. And
Is the other one up there?
yeah, it's similar to that.
Let me
It's
get
kind of
it.
behind the pink one. But anyway,
see it.
so they're kind of challenging to find. So if you're struggling to find this, let me know because I've got a really great broker that I work with, and he helps me kind of sort out what's in the warehouse and available. So I've got a couple on order. And we have some here in the shop if you want to knit along with us. It's called Flaming June. So
And I did a swatch.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So I just put this, here's a picture of the product online. I did put a copy of this in under classes and events. So there's no specific date. It just says knit along, Friday knit along, and then it will say Flaming June. So there is a link to the one that's in English because the version, if you go on Ravelry, it's in Italian. So while I can read Italian because I'm a Spanish speaker, I don't want to try to knit in Italian. I struggle enough with the English thing, so...
Is it Italian or Portugal?
I think it's Italian.
Oh, yeah, it is Italian.
I believe it's
It is
Italian, but I
Italian.
may be wrong. I haven't
It is
looked at it in
Italian.
a while.
It does say Italian.
Yeah, so if that's something you're looking for, it is under Nitty. Is it Nitty.com?
Nitty.com.
Good if I put my glasses on. So yeah, Nitty.com has it. But it is on my website. So shrimpandknits.com, all spelled out under classes and events. If you go to the little X at the top left corner and click on classes and events, you can find it there.
I mean, this is one that it can be warm weather. You just need something because it's a little breezy out. Perfect. Wear it inside a restaurant or whatever. And then maybe, see down here, this would last us through probably into November.
Yeah.
First part of December before it got a little cooler. And then I would put a long sleeve shirt underneath it and I would probably still be fine
Yeah.
until that one day in January.
And then one day we bring it all out. All of it comes out.
You'll
So-
get my alert. This is what we've been knitting for.
So-
Wear everything in the next 24 hours that
It's
you've
on.
ever knitted.
It's on emergency.
You just
Emergency.
you have to change clothes.
Mhm.
My husband changes clothes constantly.
It'll be
He does.
really.
Yeah. It's like he'll change 2 or 3 times a day. I swear to God.
We're paused. Oh, there we go. We're back. So, but he has got far more clothes than I do, and so I love it when he gets all dressed up because, he's got the socks are perfect. I mean, he just looks so handsome. But
My husband used to work at a university, and he wasn't a professor. He worked in the office services. He was an office services manager. So his thing was an Oxford shirt, khaki pants. Oxford shirt, khaki pants. Every year they would give him a little Christmas tree, his office staff, and they'd take his picture. They once showed him 4 Christmases in a row. It was the same light blue Oxford button-down shirt and the same tan khaki pants. That's all the man ever wore.
perfect. Yeah. So yeah, but my husband has, now that he's got all these a lot of stuff because he's his company is everywhere. It's everywhere. So there's a lot of Zoom meetings, and so he always has his emergency dress, shirt ready to
Just
go.
a shirt, no pants.
Just a shirt. So just in case, Zoom call, got my emergency shirt on. So I imagine that they see him frequently in his same Oxford shirt. But yeah, my Zoom calls in the beginning of the school year. I do start off trying to be summit professional, and by the end, I'm like, look, I just got off the Peloton, so sorry about all this, but I'm here, so that's got to count for something, right? So,
So talk about how we improved the jogless stripe.
So the stripe is always challenging. I mean, this is something that you see in a lot of forums, is how do you make it so it doesn't have that little jog, as they call it. So, there's all kinds of theories, like pull up from the one below it and blah, 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 blah. So Judi has mastered it a little more than I. So, what we're doing is we are just slipping the first stitch.
Of the second time around is how she worded it. But let me finish this row.
Okay.
But it was still making a little bit of a jump, and I'm thinking it's got to be worded wrong. And I got to thinking, what if she meant, if you're listening, I'm sorry I didn't understand, okay? What if she meant when you change colors, the first row of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of going around wait a minute, there. Instead of going around pink and then the second row of pink, slipping it, it was giving me a huge jump. And I thought, well, what if she meant when I switched back to my main color, which was white? So I did it on the green. I think I was watching something last night and it jumped a little bit there. But look on the green, how much smoother it is. I'm going to come up there. So instead of switching it on the second round of it's when you change colors.
Okay.
Slip that first step.
So mine, I've been, fiddling around with it. I certainly don't have the experience that Judi has. So mine, my struggle is, and I just, showed her the same thing, is that I'm apparently not pulling it tight enough because I am getting a little bit of a hole in this. So I'm going to have to go back and just kind of touch it back up. But I did the last one as she recommended, and it really is probably, is definitely the best of all the stripes that I've worked with thus far.
Well, I just tried it on socks yesterday, and it was beautiful.
Are you making the socks class?
Well, I
took it down. So we have the Happily Knitting Socks Club. And I was talking about the sock for this coming weekend.
Next, I was getting the stripes ready for tomorrow.
So this is the sock that we're making part of the Happily Knitting Socks Club. This is the Yin and Yang sock, and it is from the book Happily Knitting Socks. We are kind of working through the book one pair a month and just having a good time. We've got a great group of women that come in and work on these socks, and they're learning how to do socks with 2 9-inch circular needles as opposed to double-pointed needles. Some still use the double-pointed needle, so it's whatever you're comfortable with. But if you're still intimidated by socks, which still a little nervous about socks, but I'm getting better. But the double-pointed needles is a great alternative to knitting with just the little double points.
And some people use the magic loop.
Yep. So
here's the book if you wanted to show the book.
So anyway, if you want to come be part of our club, we would love to have you. Here's the book, Happily Knitting Socks. It is absolutely hilarious. Sort of irreverent.
These 2 guys are like all the rage in Europe right now. All the rage. Everybody's going to their workshops. They're going to different shops. You should invite them here.
We should. I'm sure they would love it. So
well, yeah,
they could come.
It's Bluffton.
They could come stay in Bluffton. I'll offer them a room in the Winslow Manor, and so
better than the Kirby Suite. We're a dog, Maggie. They open the door because we have the handle doors and she can jump up and open them. She may crawl into bed with you.
Well, my full dog, the other day we were outside and my husband was gone. And so Lena and I were sitting outside and I knew Emmeline was still in bed. And all of a sudden the door opens and I thought it was Emmeline coming out. Nope, Pete just jumped up, hit the handle because we have to leave it now. I think I've told you that he's broken the door. So we've had to keep it almost locked position. He figured out now if you just wax it.
Oh yeah, that's what Megan does.
Come on out. Yeah, join us. I'm like, oh my God. So, yeah, this is why we can't have nice things.
But I want to show you. Look how close I am.
I know, I'm kind of jealous, to be frank.
Don't look at the size.
It looks great.
But look at the length.
It looks great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You're getting there. I still have, I think, 11.5 inches or so.
I think that I only have like 2 more inches to go. We start binging Virgin River tonight, so I'm sure I'll get.
What is Virgin River? I've never heard of this.
Virgin River is kind of like a Hallmark card cereal thing, but it's good. I don't think Troy would like it, but it's good. It's about a doctor that goes to Oregon or Washington. I think Oregon.
And then he kills everyone?
No.
Oh, that's my thing. Sorry.
She goes to kind of escape her past,
and then she kills her husband.
It's got really good-looking guys in it. That's all I care about.
Are they in uniforms for you?
Good.
I know you like the uniform.
No, they're not in uniform. He's kind of like a. Like that bearded. No, he's not bearded, but that. never mind. It's the coffee talking. I like Virgin River. My husband actually likes Virgin River. It's kind of a fun.
Yeah, we've got like 3 different episodes, different shows right now that my husband's watching. So Judi has gotten my 12-year-old is interested in being a game warden.
No, I didn't get her interested in being a game warden.
No, you didn't. She's been interested in being a game warden.
I've just fed her habit.
Yes, so she's been watching all these shows.
That's what crazy ants do.
Watching all these shows. She is very much like my husband, and that would, he's in that kind of world on the white-collar side, and so she's really wants to be a game warden here in South Carolina. So Judy's like, oh, she went to police boot camp, all these things. So Judi has now introduced Joe Pickett, the series, I can't remember what it's on. Is it on Paramount? I can't remember. We found it, but so right out of the gates, murder, animals being murdered, people being murdered, so she's like, yeah, we watching Joe Pickett tonight? I'm like, okay.
It's a very good series. It's a very, very good series.
Yeah, so we're a couple, maybe 5 or 6 into it now.
12 or 13.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
It definitely keeps your attention.
It does.
Definitely keeps your attention. So that has been what we're knitting to right now, and by we I mean me and the people making tapeworms at the house. That's
Well,
what
we
we're
were
working
watching.
to.
Well, of course, we always watch So You Think You Can Dance, and then, like I said, we needed a new series. So Virgin River season 4 is up. So
Okay. Yep, definitely
It's
not my
good.
cup of tea. Not my cup of tea.
it's just relaxing to watch.
There's a new one we just started watching, and I like it. It's kind of predictable, but Chris Pratt's in it, and I can't for the life of me think of the name of it. It's like not the Hit List, but it's something where he is a SEAL and things go awry, and then he needs to remedy the situation and kind of get revenge on this group of.
When I can only watch so much stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I need a nice, soft, relaxing one, kind of like knitting. You know, you finish a hard one. Sometimes you just want to do something quick, like a hat or something real quick.
Yeah, something.
That's the way Virgin River is.
I
It's
see.
relaxing. I can watch it. I can finish this.
Yeah, no. So my husband chooses the shows at night, and I'm fine with it because he chooses stuff that we both like to watch. But when he's gone, if I just need to like veg out and I want to focus on what I'm knitting, I put on Harry Potter because I know everything that goes on, and it goes on in the background, and I've watched it so many times but each time there's always a little something new. But then I also watch I love Schitt's Creek. So I watch kind of a marathon of that sometimes, just in the background to laugh because David is so funny. So those are my binging.
Don't watch them.
Oh my God, I love them.
Not Harry Potter, not
Nope.
Schitt's Creek,
It's all right. It's not for everyone.
Game of Thrones.
I'm not everyone's cup of tea, Judi,
not
okay?
Outlander.
See, I read both those series. I read all the Game of Thrones and I read all the Outlander books, but especially Outlander because I love the history of it. But you kind of get these visions of what everyone should look like, and they never look like it in the movies or the shows that you've kind of like. And then they leave out all the details that.
But I read something neat about that one time because I used to use the book How to Make an American Quilt with my classes because it doesn't deal with making a quilt. A quilt is involved in it, but it was a good one for teaching themes because it was really more about where love resides. And one woman it resided in an illicit affair, and another woman it resided in the love of her sister, even though she'd kind of did something awful to her.
So it's like Elsa and Anna.
I don't know.
You didn't watch Frozen? Girl, where have you been?
Don't watch Frozen either. Never watched Frozen. Got it through that. Even though I had a granddaughter that was. But it was really, really good. But and I've met Whitney Ott, who wrote the
cool.
book. And she made this comment when the movie came out, How to Make an American Quilt, that she went to the set one day and she walked in and they said, "Come here, we want to show you something." And they took her back to the room where they recreated the quilt that they're talking about because they're making a wedding quilt for the one woman's granddaughter. And so each woman is working on a block and she remembers the story about it as she goes on and of her life or whatever. It's a great book. The book is a little hard to get through. The movie's hard to find, but if you can find it, watch the movie. Oh my God, the cast was wonderful in it. But Whitney Ott, the author, said this. She goes, she was so overwhelmed. And she said, and part of the reason is when you're writing a book, these characters live here in your head through the whole thing. And suddenly one day you get to meet them in the flesh. You get to see what has been up here. And then all of a sudden it's tangible and you can touch it. And she says it is such an awesome feeling for a writer, for an author.
I bet.
And I always liked that about her.
Interesting. Yeah, well, at least you read good stuff in your English class. We always had to read stuff that sucked.
That's why now I watch stuff like this and I read stuff like this. People say to me, "Oh, you were an English teacher. You want to join our book club?" I went, "No, I don't."
The stuff you read is boring.
I do not. Well, why not? I said, because after 30 plus years of teaching English, plus 4 years of college of taking English courses, and high school of English courses, I want to read whatever I want to read. I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to take a test on it. I don't want to read an essay on it.
Analyze it.
I just want to read it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I don't join book clubs. The only time that really sucked was the light between oceans. About the you have to read that. You would love it.
Okay.
You would love it. But everybody kept saying, you need to read it, you need to read it. Well, I started to try and read it, and the first couple chapters are so hard to get through because they're setting up this lighthouse scene in Wales at the turn of the century, and it's like, but so I had to put it down. But then when the movie came out, they were talking about it on Ravelry, all the handmade sweaters.
Oh, okay.
The woman wore, and if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And it is from about the final third of the book is so gut wrenching. But as you read, I'm reading it, and I get to the end, and I'm like, oh my God, I get the symbolism. I understand the line between the oceans. Who can I talk to about this? And everybody's like, wait, it's got that 3 years ago. Where were you? You know, and it's like, well, okay, I can understand that now.
Yeah, that's always, and then you're sad when the book's over because you're like, oh, I feel like a piece of my life is now closed.
That's really good. Another good one that deals with knitting and, you know, the shores of Wales or whatever. It's called Casting Off. And it's
so
kind
it's a little double entendre?
Yeah.
All right.
But, yeah. And then when you hit chapter 7, I think
How do you even remember that?
I just remember this chapter because I'm reading it and it's like, yeah, okay, it's kind of predictable. Yeah, it's a cute little book. And then you hit chapter 7 and you understand what casting off meant in life to someone.
Ooh.
And, it's another one where
a little
you go.
profound.
Oh, it was a beautiful chapter.
Oh, God, I can't read books that make me cry.
Well, I can't either, but I taught that with writing. I taught kids with writing about what makes good writing.
Right.
And one of it was words that sing. And I said, I don't mean la, but I mean you read it and you go, oh my God, what a good sentence that is.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Oh, that's a good sentence. And one of the examples I give, did you ever read the book The Horse Whisperer?
Yes.
Okay. Remember the scene. Think about it a minute. Because when I was reading
It's been a long time since I read it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
When it first came out. Because I was waiting for my kids to get out of the movie theater, and I walked into the bookstore, and it was plastered everywhere. And I went, okay, I got to read this.
Right.
And I never put it down the rest of the weekend. But the scene where the event happens, she and the girl are going up the side on the horses, and it just snowed.
Yep.
And the one girl falls and
Yep.
gets her foot caught.
Yep.
In the stirrup, and it goes down. They're onto the road. They've slid onto the road, and the semi is coming and sees them and slams on the brakes, and it jackknives, and it swallows up the one girl and the horse, and the other ones go through the windshield. But what I got done with that, and you know when you're reading, you see it in your mind.
Yeah, of course.
I saw it like a movie. I saw it in slow motion.
Crazy.
Even though I wasn't reading it in slow motion. And I got to the end of that scene and it gobsmacked me. As an English teacher, it would. I went, how do you do that? How do you do that as a writer?
Right.
And I went back and I read that scene again, and it did it again. You see it in your mind in slow motion.
Yeah.
And to me, those are words that sing. How do you do that?
I don't know. See, my writing's always been humor. So I paint a
love
picture.
good
I
humor,
paint a picture, but in a very different way. It's usually about my life because I like to go for the laugh, and so I'm usually mortified and
I'm
tell
not
the
like
stories.
that. You know.
I know
I'm
you're very
serious.
demure. Demure comes up, to mind when I think of you. And,
So shy.
yes, very reserved even. So, yeah.
My son once told me, Mom, I wish I could be like you. You make friends with everyone. You can make friends while standing in line at the grocery store, talking to people. He goes, you've got balls.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Thank you for that. So, yeah, well, and that's the fun of this shop is everyone that comes in has something that they're interested in the same stuff as we are. So it's always fun to talk with people, and a lot of people coming because this is a good tourist area. Bluffton's become more touristy, but of course Hilton Head is very touristy. So
yeah, but we had that lady come in the other day from Hilton Head.
Yeah,
and I would have done the same thing. I used to do it when I quilted. We would be at a beach house somewhere like St. Augustine. I'd go, I got to find one day. I got to get away from this house. And I'd go, oh look, there's a fabric store. I'm going to go.
Yeah. Well, sometimes as much as you love all the people you travel with, you're like, I just need 5 minutes to myself. So that's. Yeah, so let me see.
And thanks now to our handy dandy. How can you find the shops on Ravelry like I taught you last
Yes.
week?
All right, let's see. We've got...
How many we got today? We're being good today. We're no fun today.
We're waving. I know. We're actually doing knitting. Hi, Dreamweave by Wendy and Rebecca Color Design and Denise. How are you? So good to see you guys. So when you go away for your weekender, here's our segue. We are going to be making this very fabulous weekender bag, which I call the Mary Poppins bag, coming up in September. So it's really amazing. It's this giant bag where you can fit everything in your life into it. Judi made this one, so this is our sample that we're using here. So we've been trying to find the right yarn because I can't get the Lopi that we would normally use because we felt it, okay? So, and felting is a new thing to me because mostly I'm like, oh my God, what do we do with our, we knit it and then we throw it in the washer and dryer, that thing you're told never, ever, 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 ever to do. And so we're doing that now. So I got to do things that scare me apparently.
Well, did you put something in for the agitation?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, did you put in some? I said, put in something for agitation. And because she was doing one at home and I was doing one at home just to test this different yarn. And we love this. Mm-hmm. But she goes, well, what did you put in? And I said, well, I just threw in a pair of tennis shoes because they were dirty. Sure, no. She goes, did you put in deodorant? I mean deodorant.
washing detergent.
And I went, well, yeah, because I threw my tennis shoes in and they needed washing really bad. So
well, yeah, because I've never
two in one.
Yeah, I've never. So we got two different kinds of yarn that we played with, and in fact, this one is still damp, and it went through a full dryer cycle. So I did the entire piece, and it's supposed to felt down quite a bit. It didn't quite get the felting feeling that I think that I would like for the yarn.
Yeah, this is still limper than that, even though.
Yeah. Lopi is really great. It's very stiff, but it is also like so scratchy and disgusting feeling to me. It's like,
well, if you're from Iceland, that's all you knit with.
That
all
is,
your sweaters is
yes,
Lopi.
yes.
And I'm thinking, did you ever see that scene in that episode on The Big Bang Theory where Leonard's allergic to wool and they threw a bet he has to wear this wool sweater.
Oh, no, the poor guy.
And every time he lifts it up, it's just redder.
That's I get that. We're just thinking about it.
In Iceland, you probably don't feel the friction.
You got all these layers. You got all these, and you're frozen to death. You got all these layers. So anyway, we tried out. Karen, my lovely Barocco woman, sent us a couple different samples, and so this is absolutely beautiful to knit with. It is an alpaca, so it was ultra alpaca.
I can see what would be gorgeous.
It is absolutely beautiful. So here's what Ultra Alpaca Chunky. So she sent this one. It is nice. It's soft. It's not super cozy soft. So it's not like my favorite yarn, which is Road to China Light. But it has a really good heft to it, and it knits up really nice.
Where was this one?
That one's right here. So this one didn't felt up quite as much. I mean, I guess I could have run it through again, but it's not got kind of the stiffness that a good felted piece, in my opinion, would have. So the second one we tried out was another thing that Karen from Barocco sent to us. This is Lannis Quick. So this is also 100% wool. This has got a little more of that scratchy feel to it for the wool, but it felted up absolutely beautifully. Look at how nice and thick this looks. So I think this is the one we're going to go with.
Yeah, I think so too. And that bag's a little, it looks like, oh my God, how much? But you're only doing all the intarsia on the front. The rest is all just pieced. So yeah, we start off and you knit chunks of it, and then we're going to stitch it. So it's a 3-class series if you want to join us, and the kit, everything's included in the price. So it looks like what? But you're like, oh, okay. And you get a free bag.
So we're going to put that together in September. What is it? I think it's the 3 months. It's September, October, November we do it, so there's time to put everything together. And even if you don't have a top-loading washing machine, I do, so we can have a field trip to my house and get it done.
And I wanted to do that, and I was just learning how to knit, and that was in 2004. And I started it, and I kind of became overwhelmed, but I had the pieces kind of felted except for the front. And so about 5 years ago, I decided I am going to finish this baby. And that was my summer project. I did all the front, and then I felted it and did that. And that I did the Kay Fawcett way.
Okay.
And the Kay Fawcett way is, oh dear, is a little moth starting to get? Nah. I think it just came through. Don't look at that. Over here. Look over here. And the Kay Fawcett way is you're not carrying all that yarn.
Oh, good.
You just take big long strands and you let them hang, and you knit.
Oh yeah, you can kind of see in the inside,
Yeah.
so that way.
And then you just kind of go like this down and comb it
so
out.
it's not all
you don't use bobbles. You just let them hang.
And so that's.
And I'm going to teach a class on that in January, and we're just going to do little squares that you can just make into coasters or put together as a blanket or a bag or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, let's learn the Kay Fawcett way of knitting. Really fun.
Yeah, so actually Judi has a lot of really fun classes coming up. So if you are really interested in color work, that's her specialty.
Love color work.
So we've got all kinds of fun classes. We got a lot of fun classes here at the shop.
They're all fun.
So
and if you're visiting and you don't want to take a class, just come knit with us.
yes, we have a fun group Thursday nights from 5 to 7.
I missed it last night.
I know, we missed you too, but it was we do a lot of laughing. So anything that requires actual counting, probably not your best choice because you will have to probably tink it at a minimum. So we do have a lot of really good. We've got this great crochet instructor here, Nancy.
Oh, she's fabulous.
She's so sweet and she's so calm and patient and just like we are, super calm and patient. So
some days we're here knitting and she's got a class and we forget, and then I don't know how she gets through it.
I had to change the class time because, it was a little much for her poor little muffins that were learning the square. But anyway, so we're going to do some of the, those really beautiful granny squares. All kinds of stores now are selling like these granny squares cardigans.
Boho.
And
Boho is in, baby.
Very chic, very chic. So we've got a bunch of those classes coming up in the next few months. And so you can join. Again, shrimpandknits.com has all that information. And, we'd be happy to do a Zoom class with you. If you are like, but I live so far away. That's all good. It's all good. Just call us. You can have the Judi and Tracy show just for yourself.
I feel sorry for you if
sorry.
you do, but no.
Yeah, but that's what's going on there. All right, so as we finish this up, what are the final steps on this thing?
Well, I'm going to finish this row and I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm almost there.
All right, I'm
Got
definitely
about 30 stitches.
not.
Bear with me.
All right.
Yes, I watched it. I had this on last night, and I knitted all day yesterday on this. Can't believe I did that. Maggie was beside me, just sound asleep.
Aw.
I know. She is very protective of me when I'm home alone. She has to be right beside me, so, which is fine. But then she has these big kangaroo legs, and she kicks in her sleep. And all of a sudden, you get boom in your side, and you need a new kidney.
Well, you have another one anyway, so you're fine. But we ended up having, so we've had all kinds of craziness in this house. We moved in a couple years ago, and the couch that we had, my husband hated, absolutely hated it. And when we were in New Jersey, hated it here. So finally, I got sick of listening to it, and I was like, well, let's get rid of it then. And it was a bit of a Pyrrhic victory because I threw it out, and then the only couch we had was definitely not even close to as comfortable. And so then we decided that we were going to replace the god-awful, we had carpeting in this house, and it's just awful. And so I was like, well, let's just a little bit at a time replace the carpeting. So we got hardwoods put in recently, beautiful. They came out so nice, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to put that couch back because the dogs have decided that because the carpet was, they had dogs before, so they were constantly marking their territory and had peed on the couch and the carpet. I'm like, all right. So we've been kind of in limbo trying to find a couch. So we got lucky and we found our, not forever couch, but for the next few years, good, because of course the couch I want's like, I'll have to give you the kidney that your dog, kicks out because, I'll have to be selling my organs in the black market for what we want. So we got one in yesterday, and so all the dogs were like, oh my God, this is great, because it's got recliners and everything in it. We're very fancy. We went for form over feature this time. Yeah, function, because, we went for function. No, we wanted it to be comfy, so we didn't go for form. We went for function, because we're all sitting back like, the elderly. I'm like, I can't get out of my seat. So it's a thing of comfort. It's a thing of, not really a thing of beauty so much, but a thing of comfort.
Comfort. We used to have this couch. We called it the evil couch. Because
Suck
it
you
was
in?
so comfortable, you'd lay down on it and you immediately were asleep. You missed every TV show.
Yeah, that was the couch that
Never
my husband
saw.
hated because it was like a big old marshmallow, and he's like, I can't. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so when we finish this, baby.
Did you steal my pattern again?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Well, that says my name.
Well, yeah, but you put your name on everything.
Oh, well, it's because
No,
people like
this
you
is
steal
mine.
everything. All right,
This
just
is
making sure.
mine.
Just
This is
making
my
sure.
writing.
Just making sure.
That's where I spilled some water.
She left last week with my pattern. I'm like, oh.
She didn't need it. She's just knitting, 5 million rows. She didn't need it. So, anyways, they say to do an I-cord bind off.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, since our I-cord up here curled, and I'm thinking more and more, I don't mind that. I think that's kind of cute. I don't want it to do it on the bottom. So I'm thinking of doubling it.
So
To
a
do-
6 stitches?
Double the yarn
Oh.
to do the bind off, because it's an I-cord bind off.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm trying to decide which I will have the most of. I will probably have to break into one of them, the new ones, and the other ones I'll bring back. But for a refund, or just take it off one tab and put it on the other.
Store credit.
And I'm looking at the side, or the sleeves, because the sleeves are supposed to be I-cord bind off too.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, and I'm looking at my sleeves, and it's rolling.
Yep, mine too.
So now here's what I'm wondering I want to do.
Okay.
I do know it's rolling here on the shoulder. I don't think even blocking it is going to keep it from rolling.
Are we supposed to I-cord there?
No.
Okay.
So I don't think I'll I-cord where this shoulder is. I'm thinking about adding just 3 rows of moss stitch or seed stitch.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, which would give it heft to hold. And it would only be this much. So it would not really
Right.
being down.
Right.
So as I'm looking at that, and I'm hoping that's what's going to work,
All right.
I'm wondering if I want to do that here too and make more like a cuff
Yeah, I think I would like that.
than putting the
Another.
I-cord. I don't know. I will be able to tell once I do the bottom
Right.
which way I want to go. As for finishing it, I don't want to wet block this. In other words, soak it in water.
Why not?
And then bring it out. Because I think it'll stretch. There's
Okay.
too much cotton in it.
All right.
And I don't usually. And because it's heavy, and I don't want it to stretch the first time I block it. So what I think I will do is a really cool thing. We talked about this last week, didn't we?
A little
the
bit.
Eucalyptus, delicate. Oh, the jasmine. I love the jasmine. Oh, God.
Oh, if only I could smell. Still,
Well,
year and a half, no
You
scent.
know, years and years and years ago, see how old I am? Victoria's Secret had a hand wash.
Yes, I love that one.
Ah, I
Is that
did
what that
too.
smells like?
It kind
Smells
of.
like- okay, I can't smell.
Oh, that's
I
what
have
she
no
can't smell.
COVID. Lost my scent.
And I use this all the time. I use it to rinse out my my yarns for Maggie Loves Yarn, because you have to use a lot of. It has to be acid based, and the best one to use is just pure white vinegar. But then once you do it, it smells
gotta
like
get-
vinegar.
yeah.
So I wash it, and
Here's your
I always
pickle.
vigorously give my yarns a bath so they don't run. So when you buy my yarns, they're not going to run because I've already tested it and gone through. And I do it with this, and it takes out the
Any of
smell of the
that.
vinegar, and it smells so good when it's dry. So my yarn is yummy. It smells yummy. It's yummy. So anyways, how I'm going to do this, I discovered this way several years ago, and I think I invented it, although other people use it now, but I think it's just because I've told so everyone. I put a little capful in a spray bottle and add water and shake it up, because this is rinseless.
Okay.
So in other words, you don't have to rinse out the soap.
Okay.
Now sometimes in the summer, I notice when I hand wash stuff, it leaves like a little film, and I just dab some water on it, but I
Sure.
think it's because it's hot.
Yeah.
And I hand wash all my knits. Every single one. If I'm going to put that, even the socks, yes, even the socks. Because if I'm going to put all that time into knitting it, I don't want a washing machine to lose it, or eat one of them,
Or do this to it.
or do that to it. So I hope my husband, I think he's washing clothes today. I told him it's on hot, don't forget to change it back to cold. He may not. So anyways, I use this. And like I said, when I want to spray block, I simply get it, especially with sweaters, and I wish I was European to get one of those blocking. Have you ever seen them?
Mm-mm.
They look like they're made out of Tinker Toys, but they come up like this and they go like this, and they're blockers for sweaters. You put it on and it holds its shape.
Ooh, let's look into that.
They're extremely expensive, like over $100. There's somebody on Etsy that sells the plans, and you do it out of PVC pipe.
Well, Gordon's not doing anything today.
I know. He said he would
come
do
on,
it.
come
But
on.
there's one day off.
He's doing laundry. He can at least build us something.
I was home all week by myself. I could have done laundry. I did do laundry one day. But anyways, back to this.
All right, so moss stitch on the side. Then you're going
I think
to...
just 3
Okay.
would give it a little heft.
All right.
Oh, so when I go to block this then, since I don't have a sweater blocker, I will lay this out. Excuse me.
Certainly.
Let me throw the... Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay.
Okay.
This is why I ended up with your stuff last week.
Yeah,
Look at us.
we're like
Okay.
mass walking chaos.
I will lay this down. And you need to get in some of those Knitter's Pride blocking pens.
Why? What's the benefit of that over a tea pen?
Because
Just 'cause
they're
it's-
long and you just put them in. There's prongs and you put them in. You've seen them?
Yeah, I've seen them.
I use them.
All right.
I love them.
All right. I got the
All
tea
right.
pins.
So I would do this, and then I would take, get it and pin it. So I'd take my spray bottle and spray it till it's pretty wet. Not soaked, but wet.
Okay.
Okay? And then I would leave it to dry. We talked last week, because this has acrylic in it, I would steam block it if you had to.
Okay.
Okay, steam killing is kind of neat, and you have to be really careful with it because it can really kill it and make it really, really limp and loosey-goosey. And another way to do that, especially, but I don't think I would steam block this, because I might just take my steamer and go like this over it. But steam blocking might fix this, now that I think about it.
Okay.
So, in order to fix that, I would lay it out, and I would set my, do I think what I set it to? You set it to either cotton or wool, okay? No steam.
Okay.
No steam. Okay. You take a pressing cloth and you wet it. Not dripping wet, but good and wet, okay? Not damp, just get it good and wet.
Got it.
You lay it over it, and then you take your iron and touch, 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 and it comes out beautiful. And that's the way you can, because people say, if you ever see on Facebook, I'm in a couple knitting groups, you can't block acrylic. Yeah, you can. It's called steam killing.
All right.
So
Well, we can always try it
know.
here. I can bring the iron in.
So anyways, so then I spray it, like I said, and then I let it dry. So it gets good and damp, but I don't have it soaking where it's just
Dripping and takes forever. Yep.
And takes forever. I do that on, I would say, 99% of my stuff, because I find that it blocks it without stretching it and making it. Now, if you need to stretch it because you've gotten it too short or too small, I would wet it and then do the stretching. But anyways, that's how you just do the spray.
Okay.
That's how you do the steam blocking. And it does, I've done it, I've taught a class, and I've taken in a sample of steam blocking, and they don't know what they do. They argue over and over that it is not acrylic. And I go, yeah, that's acrylic. It turns it into this very drapey, smooth, it looks almost like a merino
Oh, nice.
when you do it.
Nice. All right, we'll have to try out a couple
God,
different
how
manners.
wide am I? It takes up half the table.
Well, I was just looking at our stitches. So we have the exact same. I use the needles that because I got lazy and said, what size did you do?
She's just like my friend Scarlett O'Hara.
I'm like, what's did you
Gretchen,
do this?
hi,
Did you do this
Gretchen.
gauge? Hi, Gretchen.
Scarlett.
Did you do this gauge? Because I never do gauge. And then I'm like, why doesn't
What'd
this
you get?
fit?
What'd you get?
So look, we have the same size needles and the same yarn.
But you're not doing the same size I am.
Yeah, but look at how much different our stitch sizes are.
Well, how many stitches did you do on the wrong size needles?
I don't know.
What size needles are you using?
5s. US 5s.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had 1 3 and 1 5. Oopsie. But no, this is the stuff I've been doing on 5s.
You are a lot. You're not that much smaller than me. This might
No.
fit Lena.
It's going to fit me. I'm just going to use it to make money on the side.
She's going to want to stretch this.
I'm going to use this to make money on the weekends to pay for yarn. Duh.
Oh, well, there's a picture of Bluff that I can Gaia.
Yeah. So look, isn't it interesting? Same needles, same size. I even used your needle.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I used your needles.
You are a much tighter knitter.
Yeah.
I'm loose. Yeah,
Loosey goosey. So yeah. Anyway, just interesting.
You had a thick and thin spot too, didn't you?
Yeah, I have a few of them. I'm hoping
had
that
one. I just had one.
I have a couple of them that, and
That's
they
my
look
friend.
like holes, but then I look and the stitches.
Well,
like here's
I have
one.
one that was a huge, thick and thin.
I
Yeah.
have a couple of them that I'm like, what?
No, where is that?
And I keep going, did I drop a stitch or what happened? No, it's just.
I don't know what happened there.
Do you think that'll come out in the blocking, or is it
Well,
just
you
an
know
anomaly
what I'm
in the?
gonna do, and I know I can't find mine. I gotta find which is my front now.
I think mine's on.
Yeah, this is my front.
Yeah, I have a
mine's
couple of
like,
them.
Damn, it's on the front.
Yeah, here's one. This
It was a huge thick.
piece. Yeah.
Well, what I did was, and see how good I did it, because now I can. Here it is. It's right here. You can't see it
Oh yeah.
because I
I
pulled
wouldn't-
it to the back,
Oh, that's a good idea.
and then I think I'll
What are you gonna
just.
do, knot it or something?
No, I'm not gonna knot it. I'll probably just take a thread a yarn and weave it and then weave
Okay.
it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had
But
to
there are a
pull it
couple.
in.
Also,
Yeah,
I would
that's
like you to
really
know if
good.
I am ever missing and you need DNA, just get one of these sweaters because I think I've knit about 45 pieces of hair into it as well. So it costs extra if you would like to purchase this because it's got original me in it, but I think it's worth it. So.
Mine has Maggie hair.
Well, mine definitely has Pete the dog hair because, he's like Pigpen, he just walks around shedding. So, and I've spilled coffee on this too, so I'm hoping
Where?
the Euclid. When I was in here talking and we were,
Spray it with
is it on this side? Yeah, here.
spray it with OxyClean first,
Okay.
and then I get when I'm sewing for people, and then I always stick myself, and I get
Yeah.
blood. OxyClean immediately. OxyClean on it takes it right out.
Yeah, I gotta get some. We have Tide sticks everywhere
Is this
because it is. That's how I know I'm on row. What am I, 5 now? Right?
I know. I didn't bring my
So-
counter today, so I have to keep counting rows.
Oh, well, do you want one of mine? I've got like 10 of them.
No, I have like a million of them at home because Maggie eats them.
Yes.
I buy them in bulk.
Well, that's why I buy these little cheap ones because I know that my dog's gonna eat them. And I have these little clickers. Are so cute. These little clicky counters here. Look how pretty this one is because I love polka dots. Look how cute that is.
What?
This little cutie clicker.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah, it's little clickies. Doo, 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 doo. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've got to do my
So this,
swatch of
this is
Flaming
what
June.
I'm thinking, and I don't know whether I need to add it later or because one other thing I was thinking about doing was taking it and getting it flat like this. Again, there's too much acrylic in it that I don't think it's going to make a difference. And like putting it on a pillow and pinning it and spraying the sucker out of it and seeing if it'll hold. But I'm not sure that it will.
Now, you can still...
I could steam it.
What happens if you steam it and then decide you still want it? You can knit into it after that, right?
Yeah.
It's not like...
Yeah, oh yeah, it doesn't felt it early.
Okay, so that way it's...
But I still think I want to do like just 3, because 3 rows is only like 1/4 of an inch. I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, it's not much.
It's not much. And I'm thinking that it might just look a little bit neater on the...
Are you going to use the same color as you did on this cord? Or a different color?
No, I think
Green?
I'll just use white.
Oh,
So
okay.
it looks,
Uniform?
yeah, so it's not drawing attention to it. It's
Right.
just
You
making
could just
it
also...
better.
You could pin it right into your skin.
Yeah.
Halloween. It won't...
Yeah.
You're ahead of the
That'd be fun.
curve. Oof.
Lena would like that.
Lena, what? She's very excited. She just bought a pattern, and by she I mean me. Just bought a pattern that's all the sandworm from Beetlejuice because she's obsessed with Beetlejuice. So it's this big sandworm. It's like this big. She's like, Mom, okay, I have this color, but I need this. I'm like, best get into working, girl, because
Yeah, you were talking about Frozen. My granddaughter was, my youngest one, who's 13 now, she was obsessed with Frozen. Obsessed. And my daughter-in-law couldn't understand how I hadn't watched it yet. And I said, I'm not watching it.
It's good.
And
It's cute.
I know. It's like, nope, it's not on my list of anything I ever want to watch and blah, 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 blah. So, we were waiting for Hunter to be born and, we had rented just a little cabin out in the woods and stuff. The grandkids wanted to come spend the night with us. And I said, okay. So we're getting in the car and I'm getting ready to leave and we're rolling down the window because they wanted to yell, bye, Mom, to Mallory. And Mallory goes, oh, Emma, I packed your Frozen so Grandma can watch it with you. And I looked at her and I went, you are dead to me. Well, guess what? It didn't work in the VCR that was in the cabin. I know.
For shame.
I gleefully told her that.
For shame.
It didn't work. So
Yeah. No, that was cute. There's a few things that I'm like, oh God, please don't make me watch that.
So how many times did they sing "Let It Go" to you?
They weren't obsessed with it. They liked it, but it wasn't certainly to the level of obsession that some kids had. But I think they were a little bit older. You know, I think it was more with the toddler crew that was obsessed with it when my kids were a little bit older when it came out. So, no, my daughter, we were talking about this. There's this new cartoon coming out where it is the pets of all the superheroes. And my Lena was obsessed with Crypto, who was Superman's dog. And so she was little. That's
My
who.
husband loves those kind of movies where it's about the talking animals.
Yeah, that's what so she was obsessed. So this is Crypto's actually going to be in his own movie. And I'm like, Lena, you would have died. She used to have a red cape like Crypto, and she'd walk around. She had her doggles, as she called. I got my doggles on. And she would walk around like this because when he was flying, he always had one paw up in the air like Superman. Because he's Superman's dog.
Oh, no, Wonder Dog.
Yeah, it was like
Wonder Dog?
yeah. So that was that. Either that or she decided she was going to be Thelma. No.
From Thelma and Louise?
No. We didn't show her that till she was at least 8.
Okay.
No, it was, oh my gosh, it's from Scooby-Doo. It was Velma and Daphne. She didn't want to be Daphne. She was Velma. I'm like,
well, yeah, Velma was cool.
yeah. She's like, Mom. So she'd have the glasses, and thankfully I'm blind as a bat, and I have 7,000 pairs. I just poked out the which Denise, I'm not sure which Cascade Echo for which project. For the one that we're working on? We were just talking about Cascade.
Yeah.
It might have been for her felting.
Does Cascade Echo felt?
I don't know.
Is it 100% wool? I didn't think it was 100% wool.
I don't know. I don't
thought
carry
it was a
it,
blend.
so I have to do a little research on it. So we're growing slowly. Because,
Echo might be really cool for this.
Yeah.
But
what about Flaming June? Maybe that's what she's mentioning.
maybe. Do you know, here's how we found Zoe. If you go into Ravelry and you look up a project, let's say Flaming June, okay, you see across the top, it has details, that's a tab. It has projects, so you can look at everybody's projects, and that's a great way to know whether you think it'll fit you or not. Because what I do is I go in and I type in my size, and I see what other people have done it in my size, and I can look at that and go, oh God, no, that'll never look good on me. And I don't do it. Or I go, okay. And then I read the project notes. So when you do projects, and we need to do that as a class, how do you add a project to Ravelry? Because I put all my projects on Ravelry.
And I've not done any in mine. So.
And I don't leave a lot of good notes, though, but some people do. And they're saying, no, I should have gone up a size, I should have gone down a size, blah, 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 blah. So that's always good to do. And then there's a third tab that says yarn. Hit that. And if you're a good person and you've put in all the stuff on your on your project,
Not an evil person like me that doesn't put anything.
you can see all the yarns that were used in that project.
And that's how we found Zoe?
Yeah, because I hit that and I looked at the ones that the people had put pictures of it.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, that one would work. And it was another juniper moon that I said would look.
I love Juniper Moon. They have such nice soft.
Yeah, but remember I said there was another one and we
Mhm.
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I looked at it and went, okay, I think Juniper Moon Zoe would work. So that's a good trick. You can look at it and you go, oh no, that yarn would not work in that. Or whatever, because they did, and it did not look good. Because sometimes people do, well, I know somebody, was it this? No, it was somebody on Flaming June. Very nice, they had that color. But this yarn they used was variegated. And I looked at it and I went, ew, no, variegated yarn would not work. So it's good to look.
Yeah.
Read those project pages. And that's a good class. I taught that class one time. how to add a project
Well,
page.
we'll have to do that. And I also, too, with the errata, that's part of I'm like, what is going on with this? And I didn't know about this because I'm still new to this whole world. And Judi keeps dragging me through, kicking and screaming because I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Just fix it. No, you're going to learn this. I'm like,
Okay.
So,
And she cost me, I am a slave driver on that.
so that's a good tool to look at if there's some errors in the pattern because
It'll say it.
It'll
too,
tell you.
at the bottom, errata available. And then you go in and you fix it. That's why I may need to print off a new Flaming June because I think there's
been some changes
I think
since.
so.
Yeah.
Since my last fiasco.
Yeah. Well, it's free. It's free out there. So, if you want to join us. And if you're having trouble finding Zoe, let me know because I can see if I can get an order in and ship it to you. Again, shrimpandknits.com.
So I hope we answered your question about Cascade.
Or not. Did we just ramble on about something else?
Well, I said it might work good in this.
Yeah.
It might work good for this. I would look at pictures and I would look to see if people had done it. And sometimes if people haven't used that yarn, go into yarns, not into projects or patterns. Go into yarns and type in that yarn. And on the side, it'll give you all the information. Don't hit the yarn. Because if you do, you go into people's stashes of who has it, who's willing to sell it or whatever. Just hit the projects. It might say 567 projects on this with this yarn. Then you can see how it looks knitted up.
All right.
And then you can look at other people's projects and go, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Or yeah, that would work.
I know, I can't wait to. I had someone come in, and of course, as soon as you walk in, I'm like, and before you go any further, you need to touch this because, of course, it's very tactile. The yarn is very tactile. And the whole yarn store experience should be as well. So I was like, come feel my favorite. It's amazing. Road to China. So we were talking about different projects with it. And so she's like, just kind of find a project and then come back to indulge because it's just so decadent.
And another thing you can, another thing you can do, and there's a website called yarnsub.com.
SUB, like submarine, okay, substitute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Type in the yarn, and it'll come up with all the other yarns that would work for that. That work the same as that yarn. Gauge-wise, weight-wise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I have to tell you, there is a site that you, I think it's an app that you've given me where we were talking about Stitch, will this work? Do you remember?
Gauges?
Is it, so Knit Companion, I think, is it? No.
Oh.
No, not Knit Companion. It's the one where you type in and say, well, here's what my gauge was.
Knit Trick.
Knit Trick, that one is great because it tells you, kind of does the math for you because I gave up math for that.
My two favorite apps are Knit Trick, which is when you're doing gauge.
I'm working on it. I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
I am too. And the second one is called Knit Evenly. And on that one, when it says, because one of the patterns I'm doing, it says, evenly increase 27 stitches in the next round. Well, maybe not, because sometimes I forget and I do it all at once, and then I'm like, ugh. So knit evenly is just a little calculator, and you type in whether you're doing it flat or in the round. You can do it for increasing or decreasing. You type in the number, let's say we're doing increasing, you type in the number of stitches that's on your needle right now, 64, and they want you to go up to 95. So number of stitches to increase would be 31 stitches. Type in 31 and it gives you the formula.
Oh, so every so many stitches. Now, when it gives you that and you just have to increase, how do you make one left, make one right?
I just make one. I usually make one right.
Make one right?
Yeah. You don't want to do knit front and back. And I learned that the hard way.
Why? Why not?
Because when you knit front and back, one of the stitches is knit and one of the stitches is purled.
Oh, that would do it.
So, on the side, if you're going to seam, it's not going to show.
Right. But if it's in the middle, it will.
If it's in the middle, it's going to show.
See, the things I learn. Pearls of wisdom every day with Judi from Maggie Loves Yarn. Dun, dun, dun. What are we doing here? On time? Oh, 2 minutes left. Wow.
Really?
I know.
So we talked about finishing it. I will have this done in some form. I mean, the bottom will be done. I may still be working on the sides or whatever, but this baby's going to be done because, like I said, I've only got 2 inches to go. My goal is Sunday to do Sunday at the latest, bind off. Maybe tomorrow. No, I can't tomorrow. Yeah, maybe tomorrow. No, I can. I'm teaching a class, sock class.
Some slave driver is making her come in.
Yeah, so I may not. It may be Monday or whatever. But I will have the bottom bound off.
I'm going to try. I'm going to give it a college go. But I don't know.
Put something on and just watch TV.
I know. I'm just not as fast a knitter as you are, though, so it does take a little bit of time. Oh, we have a friend. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're just wrapping up our live broadcast, so come on in.
Cool.
Join.
Interrupt.
No, not at
And
all. We're
remember
glad you're
when-
here.
Remember when you're binding off, the instructions are a little different from when you did the I-cord up here.
Okay.
It's a lot different. So because you're binding off, you're not adding on. So make sure that you don't think you're going to do it the same way you did before.
So are we adding the 3? I haven't looked at it yet.
It's
It's not that I forgot. It's that I haven't looked yet.
You cast on 2 stitches.
Okay.
Oh, that's the underarm. I don't want to do that from the underarm. I want to bind off, so maybe not. Yeah, finish the bodice with like a cast on 3 stitches, and then you got to insert the right hand needle between the first and second stitch, wrap working yarn around and draw through so you have a new stitch on the right needle. Place the new stitch onto the left needle, and you keep repeating that.
So it sounds like a normal I-cord.
Well, you do that 2 more times. That's how you get
The start.
the cast on.
Okay.
Then you're going to knit 2, knit through the back loop, slip 3, repeat. Well, yeah, you are kind of, since you're picking it up.
Right.
It's when
So-
you already have it on there and your I-cord bind off.
I love how it looks, but it's like it seems like it takes forever.
Oh, it does.
Ever. You're like, I'm almost done. I just 7,000 hours yet.
The only one that's worse is a picot edge.
I don't know what that is.
Good. That one takes forever. Forever. We are picot edge free.
Yes, it's a picot edge free zone. So if you think this is your jam, don't come here. Go somewhere else with
Yeah,
all
but
that
you want
crap.
to do lace shawls, and a lot of lace shawls have picot edge bind
Well,
off.
I just want to learn how to do it. That's all. And then I can say, ew, I hate this, just like I did with ranunculus. Ah! So
That's still a touchy spot.
it's a little bit. I'm gonna beat ranunculus.
Still just a tad of a touchy spot.
Cindy is gonna come in and teach
Those
me.
are gorgeous
how,
together. Show them what you're doing. Show the
Yes. What are you making? Come in front of the camera.
camera. Look at the green and beige
Ooh,
together.
so pretty.
Oh, so pretty.
Love
Ivory.
it. Love it. So yeah, Cindy has mastered ranunculus. In fact, she's done like 3. Salud. She's done 3 of them. So she showed me a video, and I said, "Well, just come in because I prefer it in."
Is she going to teach it?
I said she should, but I think she isn't listening. Whatever.
I saw that.
We can peer pressure her, right?
I think so.
No, she's too sweet.
Yeah, it's supposed to
She's
rain
too
tonight,
sweet.
so I'm just going to stay home. And I'm not going to Savannah Bananas.
So
not
you
doing
won't
it
be
in
a
the
famous
rain.
star again this week at
No,
Savannah
I
Bananas.
said I have no desire to go in the rain. I like baseball, but not that much.
All right. Well, that is it for this week's Knit Along edition. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate all of your support. We want to see what it is that you're working on. So send me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on WhatsApp. I'm on TikTok. I'm on, I don't know what else exists. I'm probably out there. Yelp. Come Yelp me. I'm Yelp me here. All right. So sounds dirty. Things that sound dirty but aren't. Come Yelp me later. So, all right. Have a great week. Happy knitting. Happy crocheting. And we'll see you next
Bye.
Friday at 11. Take care.